A big departure from the game. Who the hell is Kathleen and what did Henry do to her brother? We're going to be talking about all of that and more, and including the puns, so many puns, on today's episode of the Firefly Review. We have Avi, we have Pumbaa. Let's dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think about overall for this episode?
Great episode overall. Um, Love that we're finally getting to see Ellie shift into the character she's going to be for the rest of the series. Love the dynamic of Joel and Ellie. It's the first real Joel and Ellie episode, I think, and
Yeah.
they're both killing it. It's like every time, like when the episode ended, like I know I said it before, but this really cemented Joel and Ellie to me in my eyes after the end of this episode. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a good time just hanging out with the characters again before shit hits the fan.
Yeah, it hit a little bit of a few of the blades. Definitely hit some of that, some traumatizing moments. But I agree. I feel like they're finally coming into like that moment of like, I know that Joel's still very tough and everything like that, but it seems like he's softening to her now, and that's really kind of heartwarming. I was really kind of expecting that there wouldn't be, you know, like he wouldn't warm up this fast, or that there wouldn't be like another kind of happy episode, that I wouldn't end the episode being like all warm and fuzzy inside. But they've done it again. They made me happy, and I feel I'm happy about it. And I'm also scared for episode 5 and what they're gonna do, because I'm assuming episode 5 is going to be a big jump off point. But what
Man,
you think, buddy?
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I generally love this episode. I do like the pace that this show is taking. I feel like it really is steadily ramping up to something big towards the end of the show, or even to episode 5. Um, like Abby said, it's really cool to just spend time with Joel and Ellie. Just because it's like it's been the like it's great because we're spending a lot of time with these characters, but this is the first time I feel like we're really starting to see them bond
mm-hmm.
and get to know each other, and that was really fun. I also generally loved the we basically what we talked about in the last episode in terms of our predictions, like showcasing like this whole fight between them and the marauders that are trying to like steal their shit or kill them or whatever have you. I personally really liked that whole exchange just because it was a lot more grounded and dark than I initially thought it was going to be. But it really did showcase a lot in terms of how interactions with other humans is gonna play out. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, overall, really love this episode. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I also kind of like, just on a scientific level, I like the fact, they're on this road trip, they're on this big, expansive like trip cross country to try and find, Joel's brother. But I one thing that I thought was really interesting note that often is kind of overlooked in science fiction is the fact that gasoline actually it doesn't just like stay flammable,
Yeah.
like it does like wear off over time.
Yeah, I definitely love that too. It's like adds to the whole brutality of the world in the first place. And it's like, sure, like there are some things that are unrealistic from a game design sense in the games, but it's still like a realistic experience. That's what they're trying to show you. Like you siphon gas in the games too, like in the Left Behind DLC and stuff. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just like that they're sticking with that. It just makes the world feel more real and like alive.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely too, though. With the kid that Joel ends up like hurting. Um, just that interaction too is so much more intense than I expected it to be. Just
Right.
like with like him calling for his mom and stuff, and even like that stuff, it just adds to the brutality of this world and what they're doing right in the show to build up. Like Joel never, I won't say never, but like just like the cruelty in that moment and the unfairness of it all too, because Joel doesn't like necessarily have a choice there to protect Ellie, or at least like in his mind. But they're really doing a good job in the show at grounding Joel as this developed, not even an anti-hero, I don't even know what to say, but he is like a protagonist that it's like he's likable to us, but you can see how he damages other people and other relationships in his journey to protect him and the people around him.
Right.
Like he's a dark hero.
Exactly.
A dark yeah.
Yeah.
That was wrong. But yeah, he's. I think that Joel is just the perfect depiction of like survival of the fittest when it comes to this world, right? Like because when I saw that scene, especially how he offed that kid, at first I initially thought like that's cruel because he used a knife instead of a gun. He clearly stabbed his kid, probably in a jugular or something, right? But like when you think about it, actually, it's because they're trying to conserve their ammo, right? They're not trying to waste like bullets that way. But then
Ammo's also, I mean, guns are loud, man. Like they're trying to be
guns are
quiet.
loud, yeah. But yeah, I didn't initially think about that when the scene played out. I was immediately just like, wow, like use that knife that the kid gave him to
Kill him with his own knife.
Yeah,
like
shit's
give him the
gnarly.
knife and use it to kill him. Like that's gnarly as hell. But but simultaneously, it is a realistically, it's like that's probably the most quiet and efficient way to execute him at that time, right? But yeah, it just definitely shows like the brutality of not only Joel but just the world in general. But I also think that dichotomy towards the end of the episode makes it all the more like I don't know, heart wrenching to me, right? Because it's like, damn, like to see somebody be so like cold and then see him finally show joy like that was that I don't know, it hit me different, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, I love the fact that like, because they could have showed him like, going full psycho on the guy, but instead we keep with Ellie's perspective in the scene, and we actually see her crying, which in the game we don't, like for I'm sure for a variety of reasons, the graphics, what have you, we never really see Ellie cry, and to see like those two quiet tears come down and her just like quickly brush them away, because she's in that realization with Joel. I mean, she grew up in this world, right? So I think that's one of the cool things that this scene kind of demonstrates, right? And also like the look of like kind of shame that Joel has on his face when he's like, Ellie, go to the other room, right? She knows that he's gonna kill him. He knows that he's gonna kill him, right? He doesn't want to, but he has to. It's a reality of the world that there's violent. It's a violent world that they live in, and they don't shy away from that aspect. So I think that was really really interesting.
Yeah, and it's
really good.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good job. Oh no, sorry. I also really liked the instant show of regret on Ellie's face after she shot the dude. Right, or at least to me, it seemed like regret. Right, where
I thought she was just scared, like, oh shit.
Maybe it's
Joel, I have a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just cool to show, like, I mean, like the reason Joel did that, which you can see too, isn't because he doesn't think Ellie can protect herself. I think he has enough faith, even though he wouldn't do it. But it's mostly to protect her innocence that we see too, And it's like these are like one of the first moments you see like Joel is actually struggling and being a father, something like he's never been able to do completely. And it's like whether he would have protected Sarah in the world before or Ellie in the world now, he's still struggling with the same kind of thing. So, like how are you going to give your daughter weapons to protect herself, whether it's a gun or anything else, and he didn't want her to lose that innocence. But it's cool seeing that too, where his struggle in the end was like, no, I need to trust her. I need to like give her this. But then Ellie immediately fucks up and puts it in her. What do you say? It's like, you shoot your ass off. And then she just puts it in her pocket. Like, even that, it's just like, yeah. And then she's just going to be a kid at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, to kind of like hammer in that kind of thought of him being that kind of stepping into that father role for Ellie, one of my favorite scenes, and it was one of the earlier scenes, is when they pull off at night and they're like, like what she asks, like while they're out in the woods, like, hey, no one's gonna come out here and get us, right? And he says, no, don't worry about it, right? And she rolls over, she goes to sleep, but like you notice that he now has that feeling of doubt of like, when you're a kid, you have that comfort that your parents are going to protect you, right? But when you become a parent, you have to, it's a different kind of mindset. You have to be the one to go and protect from the scary stuff that's out in the darkness, right? So to see him, standing there in the dark as Ellie's sleeping and standing there with his gun in his hand, I think was a huge character moment, beat forward for him as far as his character development. And I even love how they even solidify that with like why he's tired, because like they could have just like cut that scene and had him make a cup of coffee, and they could have had that funny scene where it's like, it tastes like poop water or something like that. I forgot what they
Oh
said,
yeah.
but like, instead we actually like had this moment where it's like, yeah, he's drinking the coffee because he was up all night worried that about some bad guy going to come and harm Ellie. So I thought that was a really, really lovely moment for them, and kind of a smaller one, especially with some of the later scenes that go on in this episode. But yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Kind of goes with what like he was saying too. It's like he even says in this episode, I think at one point he's like about protecting family, and then he's like to Ellie, it's like, you're just cargo though. And
Yeah.
but
Wow.
you can also see that
he
he doesn't always feel that. He doesn't feel that entirely to be true. Like that's not in his character. And it's just sweet, dude. Those just moments of like playing the game and everything, and just like knowing that she will become his family, like the only thing he has left. But it's just good stuff, man.
It's good stuff.
It's just good stuff.
Kind of transitioning a little bit further more, we're making a huge departure away from the game, as far as like what we do in this scene. Obviously, when we finally get to the city in the game, there is this big trap. You do crash your car, right? And there's this big gunfight between a bunch of like armed militia, and in the game they're unnamed militia that are coming over to kill you, right? And that's really good for the character's perspective. But what was interesting about this series is that they're actually giving a voice to the people in the game who we just mowed down without even a second thought, right? So I thought that was really interesting.
Joel runs him over in the game, dude.
Yeah. He doesn't drive around them. He just, he goes right through them, right? So I thought that was really interesting that they actually gave a voice and gave reason to like why they would be feeling this way, to this militia, in the voice of like Kathleen, and I forgot who the other character's name was. 1 second.
The dude with the beard.
Yeah, who also played Joel's brother in the video game, which again is really
that's cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's
that's
really
awesome.
nice fan service that they're doing.
And then the voice of Joel is going to be in the show later too.
I'm excited. I think if I have a prediction, I bet you he's the doctor. I bet you he's the doctor.
I think I know who he plays if I read it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah. So Kathleen in this episode, what do you guys think about this big departure from the video game? This really is kind of giving the series its own legs to stand on beyond the game itself. So, what did you guys think of this new adaptation?
Dude, I think it's cool, but this is a personal gripe. I don't know how I feel about Melanie Linsky as an actress.
What?
Like, I just don't know, dude. Like, I thought Yellow Jackets was like good, but there's something about her character. I think she's actually better in what I've seen in The Last of Us than in Yellow Jackets. But I think it's like her whole shtick is that she's like the good person that you don't expect to do like bad things, and it's like that's what her character is. Again, here she's typecast as that. For some reason, it's just not believable to me when she does bad things. Like my least favorite part of the episode is when she goes back to the jail cell, points the gun at the dude, and just like shoots. I'm like, okay, a little too dramatic. But I don't know. But like her character is interesting. And I like what they're trying to do with Sam and Henry, because I don't remember them having that plot in the game. Like you just kind of run into them, and they're on the run, but you don't know why. So adding that layered of stuff, they killed Kathleen's brother, right? Or Henry gave away her location, her brother's location, and then Fedra got to him or something. So I think that stuff is interesting.
Bad shit.
I hope, because this is the 2-parter episode. I wonder if they're gonna have more, but I think it's gonna be fleshed out next episode for sure. But I like the trajectory it's going down. but it definitely feels like half of a story right now in the middle of this, versus like the Frank and Bill episode.
Yeah, I feel like episode 5 is. I mean, it's going to be that. It feels like they're building to that big climactic moment between them. And if I have to guess, one scene that was really interesting is like the cluing in to they go underground and they're like, hey, I need to show you something, and they go underground and all the asphalt and all the concrete is just like
That was
bottom.
crazy.
That was a great scene.
And I think it's a really great narrative tool to be like, hey, there's a bomb here, it's gonna go off, it's not gonna go off right now, but it's gonna go off at some point, right? So I thought that was really kind of an interesting like direction for them to go with that. If I had to guess, I think it'd be really interesting if that was her brother, and she was like, he needs to be buried, I don't want to burn him, so then she covers
I
him
see
in
what you mean.
concrete. I think that would be so interesting to have, like, to actually give like a character to a bloater would be fascinating. So I'm
That
really
would be
interested to
cool.
see
That
like
would be interesting.
if they have a personal angle with the bloater in the upcoming episode, but we'll see. We shall see.
That's a
Boom,
good prediction, though.
dude.
I fuck with that.
This Friday,
That's awesome.
it's Sunday because it's Super Bowl and people like football.
Football is a thing.
Football, some football, and it's also
Play
on.
football.
It's right before Valentine's Day. Football.
That's
What
just
y'all
the day
here
I
talking
drink
about?
beer.
Live. Talking about football.
Give me a Bud Light and we're good to go. All right. I do that a bit too well. We're gonna move on.
Hey, Joel is
That's
definitely a
solid.
Bud Light
That's solid.
man for sure. What beer do you think Joel
Yeah,
drinks?
Ooh, I feel like he's an IPA guy. He's
You
like,
think so?
Nah,
I think-
Nah. I feel like
he's
he'd be
he's
like,
drinking
fuck
like-
that craft shit, dude. I need
No,
some like American beer, like
Next to my
PBR, Bud Light.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. drinking
Cheaper
Bud
the
Light.
better. All right. That's water,
If he's feeling saucy, he's drinking Modelo's. But that's if he's like
Exactly.
a little bit of that little twist, a little lime twist, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With time's up.
There
Yeah,
you go.
no.
There you go.
Yeah, so I actually really, I guess it's similar to Avi, but I think I'm a bit more positive. I think Monica Lewinsky is good. Like, she's always good in what she's in, right? But I do feel him in this I feel you when you break it down like that, because I just looked up Monica Lewinsky's filmography and I'm like, yo, she has played the same character in everything she's in. Starting with like Togetherness. But I think it worked in this, right? Or at least to me, it was just kind of like, all right, I don't know who this person is, but we're gonna get to know her as the show moves forward. And I also did think it was a smart way to introduce Henry early on. I was like, oh shit, we're doing this now. Okay, cool, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I generally.
You know what?
I mean,
I just realized Melanie Linsky played. Have you guys seen Over the Garden Wall?
Yeah, she played the
She
bird.
plays
right?
the bird. That's the same character too. Just like a
Yeah.
nice person who's like struggling with being bad, even in animation.
No, I'm not joking. I'm like, yeah, you called it.
That's hilarious.
Just
Fire
played
show.
the-
That show rules.
Yeah.
Even in
Over the Garden.
animation, bro. That's fucking funny.
No, not everybody can be a Daniel Day-Lewis. All right. Some
No,
people-
dude. Okay, if
character
anything,
actors.
she
Avi.
seems too good of a person. Okay, it's a good thing. She seems too good of a person to be a bad
She's
person.
nice.
Yeah, it just feels like it.
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
Good point. I feel like, to be honest with you, like her performance out of everybody that in this episode, I feel like hers was the weakest. And I'm hoping that like they utilize potentially the cold open to kind of show what happened between Henry, her brother, and Kathleen. I think that will kind of give her a little bit more to work with, because right now it's just like she's talking to a doctor and she's real angry about it.
Exactly.
Her
There's
kid-
no like actual emotional arc yet.
Yeah.
No.
I also was curious about that. Like, who is this doctor, and should I care about this person? And I was
Wait, do we know the doctor too, or is this the first time we saw him too? I was a little confused. I'm like,
Yeah,
is this
that-
saying something? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I was confused. I thought he was going to stick around for longer so that we can get to know the situation that she shoots him. So I'm just like, all right, I understand why he did it. So you can set up, so you can showcase early on that she's a no nonsense,
No nonsense.
nonsense woman of power, trying to lead her people to salvation. But like, I don't know. Why'd I say it like that? That's crazy.
That's fire. That's fire.
It's Kansas City, baby. That's how it works, you know.
Kansas City, it's got me going wow. But yeah, no, it's like I understand what it was trying to do in terms of her character. I do think it kind of fell flat only because I don't know who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's like it would have more of an emotional beat if we got to know this doctor and her simultaneously, or got to know the relationship to realize like, and to see her sever that relationship with ease to show how brutal of a person she actually is. But just introducing us to her that way, it was just kind of like, cool, I get it, but like,
yeah,
whatever, you know.
That's why definitely I think it's gonna be rounded out with like these two-parter episodes, because it has to be more of these two-parters with like knowing what comes up with Winter and after Sam and Henry. It's like there is like a big gap before we jump into the next part. So yeah, I definitely think like once her character acts, we know like the true motive, there will be more like of a connection from like the audience point of view. But for now, definitely it just feels like a weak link in the rest of this. But I just hope there's going to be a better payoff.
Right. Yeah. Because right now it's great. You have that little moment. You give kind of like a thin layer of motivation for everybody to like start breaking down doors.
Exactly. I just feel like mob mentality kind of stuff. But it is cool though seeing just the hunters in general, because that's nothing we did in the game. So from that perspective, just being able to flesh that out, you said who plays Tommy in the game? He killed it though. That guy was great.
I'm scared of him, man.
I know, yeah. He was just glaring, and I was like, "Whoa, okay."
That is a real beard. That is 100% a real beard. He grew that shit out.
Greatest beards I've ever seen.
Oh my god! Right?
I don't even think he grew that out for the show. I think that's just him. He was just like,
it's COVID, and they were like, "Perfect, don't shave it. You know, grow it a little longer. You know."
Exactly.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
I like the similarities they have. It's balancing it perfectly, in my opinion. They had the scene with Ellie in the car in the magazine, you know.
Yeah.
It was cool. Just the joke book is the exact same joke book, you know, like those little details like make you feel like, wow, this is an adaptation, but it's doing its own thing. But it's also got these like little intricate moments, you know, like it is its own version of the game, and whatever it's doing, it's like doing right, you know. It's just yeah.
No, some really great moments. I said in the previous Dragonfly review or Firefly review, I keep doing that. Sorry, the Firefly review. That I like. If they don't have the magazine, I'm quitting the game. I'm quitting the show. And they had the magazine, so I'm really happy that they're actually keeping the puns, because I feel like it brings a little bit of levity to it, especially with that ending where she's like, you know, diarrhea is hereditary. It runs in genes.
It's such a sweet moment.
It's so great, you know, and like trying not to laugh, and then like Joel ultimately bursting into laughter was a great moment to just kind of like close in. And of course, like you have this moment where Henry and his brother come in, but like we know they're not bad guys, you know.
Oh my god, that final shot they end on with him just going that's fire. Yeah.
This is a great way to end this.
So I guess it's so good too, because it's also the first time you see Ellie point a gun, so it also mirrors that point of view, seeing another kid pointing a gun, you know.
It's like kid.
Exactly, like this is how the world works now, you know. Kids are introduced to violence at such a young age, they have to learn these things. This next episode's gonna fucking destroy me, dude.
I'm not gonna be able to handle it, man.
As soon as I saw Henry, I was just like, "Oh no,
God damn, yeah."
How? Yeah,
Sam. Oh God, Sam. Just keep the toy in your backpack, man. Don't let your brother see it. Okay, like just see it. I guess kind of moving forward with this, like some big differences between the game. You know, obviously we just talked about the car crash scene and everything like that. One thing that like that I was really interested in is the difference in how Joel reacted to Ellie saving his life. Because in the game, he's mad. He's real upset about it, and he lashes out at her. Where in this one, he's very like recluse about it. He's very like internally kind of like dealing with the fact that she just had to shoot somebody to save his life. So that was a really interesting like character choice that the writers made. And in addition to that, also a very big difference on how Joel and Ellie meet Sam and Henry. So those are two very big differences. Personally, I gotta say I like the game version of how Joel and Henry meet each other, because they get into a fight with each other, and Henry is like he says something along the lines of like, "Man, dude, you hit real hard," and Joel's like, "Yeah, I was trying to kill you."
Oh yeah,
that's such a good line.
It's such a good
line. Happen,
no, that's over with that. Oh god.
They could get that in episode 5. They could have that fight.
It might just start with that.
Dude.
Yeah, like you could easily just start with that. Yeah.
You're right. So, you're right.
Yeah, I'm
getting ahead of myself.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
No.
What do you guys think of the difference in reaction for like Joel's reaction to Ellie shooting the gun and having the gun even more than that? What do you guys think of that difference?
I mean, I personally I loved it. I thought that I think that the video game is very straightforward in showing how like it's straightforward reaction of like, what the fuck? Why did you shoot that?
What the fuck?
Can't believe it. Like it makes sense. But to see Joel like battle with himself, like all these different emotions and seeing it on his face of like, I can't believe you shot this person. How old are you again? Wait, I should have never let you shoot that gun. What I messed up. Like all of that's like shown on his face. And the only thing he can say is go back in that hole. Because I gotta kill this right now. We'll deal with that later. Like it was cool because it just showed like a sense of shame or failure and disappointment all in just one stare. And you touched on this before, Eddie, but yeah, Pedro Pascal, he's really good at showing facial, like his facial acting for him is he's so good at it, bro. Like
so
showing
good.
anger, pain. Like you don't really need he doesn't need to say anything. You can just see it all in his eyes.
Seriously.
Yeah. And I love that scene, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely like it makes more sense with Joel's character because Joel isn't an angry person. He is defeated until Ellie gives him new purpose, you know? Right. And it's like you see him. I actually don't really remember the scene where Ellie uses the gun for the first time in the game, but
Joel's about to die.
And then he gets angry, like, "Oh, you used the gun." But I like that it wasn't just that simple in this, like Fuma was saying, like it actually dives into like Joel's psyche. It's like, who is this guy? Like he's not angry. It's like anger isn't what he's feeling in that moment, you know? He's feeling like shame, guilt, and like he doesn't want Ellie to grow up, you know? He doesn't want to destroy that innocence for her. And the only thing he can do to save it and not making worse is just like, go stand there, don't watch the rest of it, you know?
Yeah. Don't watch me kill this person, right?
Yeah. But I love how that ties into where like he's open to share, and then there's that one part where he turns over on the side and he asks about Ellie, and it's like hella cute. And then Ellie's like, "Wait, I don't want to talk about it." And he's like, "What the fuck?" Like, that's my line.
They're the same, man. They're the
exactly
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the aspect of the puns was really kind of tasteful. It kind of, you know, like in the game they're just there, right? But for this, it felt like a moment where, like, when you're in the darkest of times in a post-apocalyptic zombie world, finding something to laugh at can be something that just saves you like spiritually. So I thought that was really kind of a beautiful moment. I actually found myself laughing at that particular moment, even though, like, you know, especially with how Joel like slowly has that building moment with himself, you know. I loved it. I loved that stuff.
I was about to tear up, man. That shit.
Yeah.
got
And also, like, Joel, like, they even show a sense of humor with Sarah in like the first couple of scenes, you know?
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna
Sarah's like, I
say.
sell hardcore
Yeah.
drugs, you know? Like, stuff like that. It's kind of like Ellie's attitude too. And it's
Yeah.
like you can finally see like life in him again. Like, this is the first time we see life in Joel, like smiling. I
Now,
also love
smile.
the detail with his
Actually,
ear, and with Ellie notices like his hearing is bad in one of his ears.
Mhm.
Just the fact like Ellie noticed it too. It's like small, but it's like it shows you that she's perceptive, dude. She's had to be to survive.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
great character moments for Ellie and Joel. Like this was their episode,
Yeah.
and whenever it like strayed a little away from them, I was not lost. It just I couldn't connect to any of the other characters. Melanie Linsky, what's happening there. That
Mhm.
payoff will happen next episode, but Joel and Ellie's like relationship in this episode, like perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like this is the way to show who these characters are, and such
Yeah.
a good introduction. Like the rest of the show is just them now, so they're doing it right.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. I guess to kind of wrap things up, where do you guys think that we're going to be taking it into this final part, as they say, for episode 5 for the Kathleen two-parter episodes? Where do you think they're going to go with it? What do you think? What are some predictions that you guys have for what Henry did to Kathleen's brother? What do you guys think happened?
So I'm gonna I'm gonna go on a limb here and say I don't think Henry did something to Kathleen's brother, but
Mhm.
Sam probably did.
Oh, that's
He had to
interesting.
protect him.
That's
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
The
That would be
Yeah,
politician.
so like thematically in tune though. That's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
that's
Yeah, because
real
that's what
good.
I'm like.
That's real nice.
That's nice.
That's really that.
That's like a half cold beer, you know.
Like he becomes his yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's gonna be the case.
Right. Yeah.
And you're not gonna look at a kid and say that this kid did that, right? But whatever the circumstances are, like they're probably gonna incorporate Sam into the role a bit more. And I agree with you, Eddie, 100% with the bloater. I think like at least like I hope that's the case because that would be fucking
Dude, that'd be so
cool.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
like something that's been sitting underneath concrete for like how long has it been? 22 years. Like that's a long time to be just, like festering. So like that would be fascinating to like to for them to actually give like a real like character to a person who is a bloater, because in the game it's just a monster that you have to go kill, right, in a
Right,
basketball
exactly.
court, right. But I like the direction they're taking with this, so I'm really excited about where they're going to go with it. I'm interested on how they're going to incorporate the sniper scene in this upcoming episode, because that's a huge
Oh yeah.
scene. And I'm wondering how they're going to kind of incorporate that, how they're going to work through that, because you got to make your way all the way down to the sniper in the game, and then you got to shoot everybody and the zombies coming on the way back. So I'm really excited to see and how they do that, or if they even incorporate that in this upcoming episode. Avi, do you have any upcoming predictions?
I think there's definitely gonna be that one shot in the trailer of like that fucking zombie climbing, That's
Oh,
definitely happening. And it
yeah.
looks good too, like the practical effects and everything. But definitely finish Sam and Henry's arc.
Do you think they're going to be? Do you think they're going to cold open with Sam and Henry and Kathleen? I think that'd be.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think
That
that's
would make sense.
probably what
Yeah,
they're gonna do.
just to
Yeah.
show what that dynamic was. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then
And then cut back to Joel and Ellie at gunpoint or something like that.
yeah.
Look at us deconstructing this shit.
Yeah, we understand plot structure.
Yeah, we got this. We got it. Right. All right, guys. So out of 5 puns, what would you guys rate this episode? Abby, Mr. What are you giving this puppy?
Giving it a 4 pun out of 5.
4 pun out of 5. Boom, but what do you give this puppy?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a solid 4.
A solid 4. Wow. I'm gonna actually be the harder critic on this one. I'm gonna give it 3.5 puns out of 5. All right. That's right. It's a good episode, but I just think that the Kathleen character, it was good, but and I understand that this is a series and there's gonna be more than that, but like it just didn't seem to have enough meat on the bone to actually be able to kind of dive a little bit further into it. You knew that Henry did something wrong, but the best parts of the episode, I agree with you, Abby, are 100% the development with Joel and Ellie. But other than that, like overall, it's consistent. It's a really, really good episode overall still. All right, guys. Well, with that, this has been the Dragonfly review. The next episode will be this Friday since there's football on Sunday. We're doing another review on that coming soon, and hope to see you guys soon.
Peace.
Yeah.